Okay, so I would like to welcome the class back again. And today I would like to introduce to you, at least if not the whole Plato's Republic Book 1, then some important insights and centered on the idea of justice, no? And the highlight of this is what Socrates really meant by the idea of justice that should be applied by the ethical individual, which is rooted in his idea of a good craftsman. And there are a lot of special insights, I guess, that you can gain from this, no? And pretty soon, I will be giving the class, all of you, an electronic copy, a PDF copy of the book itself, no? But for the class itself, I will be requiring you to read the entire book one of Plato's Republic, and I will be asking you questions for your exercises and probably for the final exam, no? Uh, but nothing will stop you from reading the whole book then, no? If that your time requires and you have time really to go through the entire book, then it's so much better to be oriented with classic works such as Plato's Republic, no? This one, uh, I just took this from the synopsis lang, no? I took this from the synopsis of C.D. Reeves' book, that is version. This one, no? Translated by C.D. Reeves. And I would like to get just the synopsis lang, no? This is not the entire book, but this is just like, it's not a summary, but it's like an opening towards the chapter, no? And he recalls here what happened in book one, no? The good thing about Plato's Republic is that it is written in dialogue form, so that it's more fun to read than just full paragraphs, because they are really doing a dialogue with different characters, no? So you have here Socrates, Cephalus, Polemarchus, and then later on even joining in is yung main opponent ni Socrates, who is Thrasymachus, and a lot of other friends by Socrates, no, who were on their way, no, I think on his way home from a religious festival. Socrates meets Polemarchus, no, and then they went to Polemarchus's father, the old man, Cephalus, no, and then later on napunta po, uh, when they were talking about wealth, are you happy to be an old man? Ganyan-ganyan, no? Uh, Cephalus said, wealth is important because it reduces the likelihood of being tempted into injustice by poverty. But then again, this will later on, all of a sudden, while they were conversing, no, uh, it led to a discussion, to an opening of the topic on justice. Okay, which this book actually, book one, will be centered on the topic of justice. So Polemarchus takes on the argument when Cephalus left the argument to Socrates. Then Polemarchus steps in, no, and then an examination of Polemarchus follows. And then we will try to talk about the two positions, the two most important positions, or assumptions rather, no? Kasi the definition of justice of Polemarchus and Thrasymachus here, which are quite important, are mere assumptions by both men, no? And then these assumptions, what the Socratic method tries to do is to interrogate and examine the positions if they are really good, and that you can really argue so much that these are defensible positions, no? uh, uh, Later on you will see that they will not be able to defend their positions, as Socrates will be able to demolish their arguments, no, uh, as we will see later. Okay, so I don't know if this is getting interesting to you, kasi this is quite important, and then this will lead us to paano ba dapat magpakatao, paano ba dapat maging mabuting tao or to be a good person or a good citizen of the republic, which is Socrates' most important idea of a good craftsman. The examination of the two arguments of Polemarchus and Thrasymachus are quite important, and that opens up the door towards a discussion of how to be a good person, how to be a good man. Okay, this one first. Polemarchus' definition of justice, no, that when Cephalus left to Socrates the idea that to give one what is due, then that is paying your debts, no, is equal to justice, no. And then Polemarchus says justice is giving one what is due, so that it is now tantamount to giving benefit to friends and giving harm to enemies. Kasi what is due to your friends is benefit because they are your friends, and what is due to your enemies is harm because they are your enemies. Kaya lang maraming mga ano to, no, there are a number of weak spots in this definition because for one, and later on you will read this from the book, no. Do you really know who your friends are and who your true enemies are? And sometimes in our situation, the man who thinks and teaches about what is true, sometimes you make an enemy out of him because he tells you the truth and you cannot accept the truth. You simply cannot handle the truth. So that the one who speaks the truth becomes your enemy. And sometimes you get very, very confused about who your true friends and who your enemies are. Because sometimes you think that only those who are speaking positive about you, you know, and building you up, but then again taking advantage of you later on, those are your friends, and those who criticize you are your enemies. Sometimes there is such a thing as constructive criticism in order for you to make you better, no, a better person. And sometimes our grading system, your teacher even is creative, that is a constructive critic of you. Sometimes you cannot really accept it, even your parents, because they're telling you something important, and you don't want to conform to the principle about what they're saying, what they're talking about. No, you don't want to change your bad attitude or bad behavior, and that's the reason why you make enemies out of your teachers and your parents sometimes, right? So yun nga, sometimes you get confused about who your friends and enemies are. So this is hard to defend. But again, even if you are going to be talking about the true nature of justice, is this the correct definition of justice? Giving benefit to friends and harming one's enemies? Well, it says in the Bible, love your enemies even, which is hard to do, right? I'm not referencing the Bible here, maybe just a little bit, because that's an important insight. But then again, let's talk about what the true nature of justice. Is it even part of the nature of justice to harm anyone? Because later on, Socrates will, in the dialogue, state, if you harm the dog or you harm the horse, will you make it a better dog? Will you make it a better horse? If you harm it, what if you harm the person? Will you make him a better person? It seems like it is not part of the nature of justice to even harm anybody, not animals, not, and most especially not other people. Like you've learned about the Kantian principle last time about respecting human dignity, right? Who among you here can recall that? Can you recall that from last time? Naalala nyo yon? Yung tungkol sa principle of humanity ni Kant? Respect other people so much so that you don't make harm out of them. Right? Harming anyone is just really not in line with the definition of justice. So it consists also of giving benefit to enemies. It's not harboring bad behavior or criminality. Siyempre, part of giving benefit to a criminal is to put him behind bars so that he will learn something. He will learn about what's wrong about what he did. No, that's not what Socrates meant when he said, what Socrates actually meant there is that you give enough space or learning space even to that other person who happens to be your quote-unquote enemy, so that he will learn a good example from you. When you give benefit to him, then he will learn that giving benefit to others, including your enemies, also is so much better. That is to teach him a good example, maybe to teach him a lesson, give him some time to learn that lesson, but also you can teach by a better example. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying now, but later on, maybe when you read the book. So I will not be doling out all the answers to the questions today. What I'm doing now is just to ask you certain questions and even cognate questions of the central issue, so that you will be able to have some doors, and also you will be encouraged to read the book. Okay, Socrates and Thrasymachus. The central definition of justice for Thrasymachus' mind is that he claims, so the first definition given by Polemarchus to, and this is Socrates. Polemarchus said, give benefit to friends and harm enemies, which was refuted by Socrates. Thrasymachus naman, on the other hand, is saying that justice is the interest of the stronger, which means a number of things. That means survival of the fittest. The strongest one will survive and the weak ones will die by the wayside. Might is right and all that. But he's also saying, no, in the end, he is actually claiming it, that a life of injustice is happier and more profitable than a life of justice, which is, for Socrates and myself, a very twisted notion, very twisted idea, and I hope that you don't subscribe to it. But nevertheless, some of you are going to be tempted by Thrasymachus to accept his view, actually, about that justice is really the interest of the stronger. Paano nga naman, sir? All kings in history, all politicians in history have been corrupt. Okay? And governments have always acted that way, that presidents and kings have become so corrupt that they think about their own interest only and not the interest of the people. The thing is, can you think of some other examples who are exceptions to that? Sino yung mga exceptions in history? Can you think of people who have acted correctly and ethically rather than unjustly? Because it seems so, nilalahat ni Thrasymachus too. But Thrasymachus seems to be guilty here of an argument of generalization. You know what? Kasi he says all of them, all leaders are unjust. No one is an exception. So, when you become the leader, become unjust also. Why? Because if you have more money in the end, if you can corrupt more money than everybody else, you're the happiest person in the world. But is that true? Can I have a reaction? Is that true? That in the end, in the dissolution of contracts, when you are able to trick your opponent, then you have more money than him, you put him in jail, you can bribe people on the ground so that you will become the winner in that, and that all others you will put in the losing end, and you will emerge as the victor in that that quarrel between you, and it usually involves money. So you take home more money than everybody else, you have the lion's share, and you put behind bars, even if those people who put you behind bars are the ones telling the truth. You can lie about it. You can like the biggest pharmaceuticals in the world have the biggest take-home money and pay today, right? Those who promote usury in the banking system in the world today go home and become the richest people in the world today, right? And everybody else becomes a loser in terms of financial slavery and all that. So that the recommendation of Thrasymachus, the sophist, is that become like those corrupt leaders because everyone is corrupt anyway. What a twisted idea, right? Sino sa inyo dito ang nag-agree kay Thrasymachus? Anyone? Oh, pag-isipan niyong mabuti ha. Think about it hard so that you know what to answer in your exam. But I'm telling you, I don't agree with Thrasymachus here. Okay, this is the kind of answer or response to both positions by Socrates. Can you see this on your screen, by the way? Kita ba ninyo to? Hello? Is anybody still with me?
Kita po.
Okay, can you see this on your screen? Okay, enkrateia or self-mastery, no? Uh, yung craft of being a just man, siguro yung justice, maybe it really is expressed all the more with the craft of physicianship, of being a doctor or even a governor, no? Not that it doesn't show in any other craft, but it even shows even more clearly. It is shown in being a doctor or governor. But I will explain, no? A shoemaker, the craft of a shoemaker is to make good and durable shoes so that the customer is happy. The craft of a horseman is to make the horse healthy, right? And to take care of the horse. The shipbuilder must build a vessel that will not sink. It's a seaworthy vessel. A teacher should impart knowledge and not take advantage of others, no? Similarly, and most especially if you're a doctor, you should heal your patient. That is your craft. That is your ergon or proper function, no? Ergon or always remember the term in Greek, no? Ergon or proper function of a doctor or a self-mastery of a doctor is to heal patients, not to extort money or trickery, not to create drugs so that you will make them more sick so that they come back to you over and over again and you keep on getting money from your patients. That's not being a good, well-crafted doctor craftsman. Being a good governor is not simply to serve your own interest. You will be compensated, but first know that as a governor, you are a public servant first and foremost. Your craft is to serve the interest of the general public. So, if you are going to be somebody who gives benefit to friends and harm to your enemies, then you cannot be a good craftsman. Right? Because if you're the governor and then you have to at least give them the opportunity or benefit the doubt, maybe that enemy is a friend anyway, or you can make him your friend in the long run. Maybe he will learn something and maybe his character will change. If he's really a bad person, you give him enough room so that his character will change, and sometimes you can even make yourself into a good example. Like a good leader does not need to quarrel with anybody. All he needs to do is to make a good example of himself so that his light will be shown to others so that others will be lit also. Like a lamp that will light the others' ways, no? Kumbaga, parang if you're a lamp, then share your light so that others will become light also. Make them learn by your good and excellent example. Don't make them learn out of mediocrity. If you're the leader and you teach them mediocrity, they will inherit your mediocrity. Make them learn your excellence instead. Of course, it now will demolish this argument that justice interest was stronger, because if you are a governor or a doctor and you are living a life of injustice, you're always getting money and that's all you care about, and you have the lion's share always, you serve your own interest and pocket, not the interest of the people, you are not being a good craftsman. All right. And before we end, I would like you to reflect on this question. And Socrates also asks this before he ends the book 1 of Plato's Republic. In a society where everyone is doing injustice to one another, stealing from each other, lying to one another, murdering one another, what do you think will happen? Will it stay? Will it even survive, or will it crumble? Do you think society will even exist any longer if that is the case? According to your scripture, even the working and honest man can still sleep at night. But in a society where everyone is doing injustice to one another, can you still sleep soundly at night if the first thing that you think about in the morning is somebody will stab you at the back when you go out of the gates of your house, right? So I would like you to reflect on all these questions before I send you the file and before I give you an activity so that you will be able to answer those questions. I will stop the recording now because we're running out of time also. And thank you for listening.